The text message glowed on Ryan's phone screen at 2:37 a.m. "So, you're on date meet now?" For simple words from Mia, his ex-wife's sister, that made his stomach drop. One accidental swipe right while half asleep had just complicated his already messy life in ways he couldn't begin to imagine. If you've ever made a split-second decision that turned your world upside down, hit that like button and subscribe to follow Ryan's journey through one of life's unexpected detours. Ryan Collins stared at his phone, paralyzed. 3 years after his divorce from Caitlin, he'd finally gathered the courage to create a dating profile. As a 38-year-old single dad raising 9-year-old Emma, dating hadn't exactly been a priority. Between his job as an architectural engineer, Emma's soccer practices, and the lingering emotional fallout from his marriage ending, Ryan had convinced himself he was fine alone. It was Emma who finally pushed him to try. "Daddy, Ms. Peterson has a boyfriend now and she's always smiling," Emma had said one evening while they were making spaghetti together. Ms. Peterson was Emma's third-grade teacher, recently divorced herself. "Maybe you need a boyfriend. I mean, a girlfriend." Ryan had laughed, but the comment stuck with him. Was he really happy? Or just comfortable in his isolation? So here he was, 3 weeks into his dating app experiment, having accidentally liked his former sister-in-law's profile at 1 a.m. while scrolling through potential matches in a sleep-deprived haze. Mia, who had always been kind to him during the divorce but maintained appropriate distance afterward out of loyalty to her sister. "I can explain," Ryan typed, then deleted it. Too defensive. Completely accidental, sorry. Too dismissive. "It's been a while, how are you?" Too casual. While he struggled with his response, 3 dots appeared. Mia was typing. "For what it's worth, I almost swiped right on you too. Just didn't have the guts." Ryan's heart skipped. He and Mia had always gotten along well, better than he and Caitlin toward the end, if he was being honest. Mia was the free spirit of the family, traveling the world as a photojournalist while Caitlin had always been intensely focused on her corporate career. When Emma was born, those differences became fractures that eventually broke their marriage. "I didn't know you were back in town," Ryan finally replied. "Just got back last week. 2 years in Southeast Asia was enough. Thinking about putting down some roots." Ryan stared at the ceiling, memories flooding back. Mia at his wedding, giving a heartfelt toast. Mia bringing Emma handcrafted dolls from her travels. Mia sitting with him on the back porch the night Caitlin announced she wanted a divorce, just listening while he processed the shock. "This is probably a terrible idea," he typed. "Probably," came her immediate response. "Coffee anyway? As friends catching up?" The next morning, Ryan dropped Emma off at school with a strange nervous energy he hadn't felt in years. "You look different today, Daddy," Emma said, studying his face as he helped her with her backpack. "Different how?" "I don't know. Less tired." She shrugged and ran off to join her friends. The coffee shop was busy when Ryan arrived. He spotted Mia immediately, her dark curly hair pulled into a messy bun, camera bag beside her as always. She looked up and their eyes met. The smile that spread across her face made his chest tighten. "So, you're on date meet now," she said as he sat down, echoing her text with a teasing smile. "Emma's idea, believe it or not. Smart kid. How is my favorite niece? Missing her aunt's stories about elephant sanctuaries and ancient temples." Mia's expression softened. "I've missed her too. And..." She hesitated, "other things about home." Their conversation flowed easily, catching up on the past 3 years. Mia had left shortly after the divorce was finalized, taking an assignment in Thailand that turned into multiple projects across Asia. Ryan told her about Emma's growing interest in architecture, how they built elaborate structures with blocks and recycled materials on weekends. "You always were the creative one in the family," Mia said. "Caitlin never understood that about you." The mention of his ex-wife brought reality crashing back. Speaking of Caitlin, how would she feel about us having coffee? Mia's expression clouded. Honestly? Not great. But I'm 35 years old. I love my sister, but I'm tired of letting her control aspects of my life from a distance. What do you mean? Mia took a deep breath. Ryan, there's something I never told you. Before you and Caitlin started dating, you and I met at that charity event, remember? We talked for hours about sustainable architecture and my photography. Ryan nodded slowly. I remember. You gave me your number. And then Caitlin saw us talking, asked about you, and I stepped aside. She was my big sister, always so determined to get what she wanted. I convinced myself it was just a fleeting connection. Ryan sat back, processing this revelation. Why are you telling me this now? Because when I saw your profile last night, it felt like the universe giving us another chance at something. Even if it's just friendship. She looked down at her coffee. Or maybe I'm just jet-lagged and being ridiculous. Ryan reached across the table and took her hand. Not ridiculous. But complicated. The coffee stretched into lunch. They talked about everything, her experiences documenting environmental initiatives across Asia, his recent promotion, Emma's struggles and triumphs. It felt like reconnecting with an old friend, but with an undercurrent of something more. I should pick up Emma soon, Ryan said eventually, reluctant to end their time together. Can I come? I have presents for her from my travels. Unless, that's too weird. The joy on Emma's face when she saw her aunt waiting with Ryan outside school made any concerns about weirdness evaporate. She launched herself into Mia's arms, chattering excitedly about school projects and demanding stories about jungle adventures. That evening, after Mia had gone home and Emma was in bed, Ryan's phone buzzed. Thank you for today. It meant more than you know. As weeks passed, Mia became a regular presence in their lives. She helped Emma with a photography project for school. She and Ryan restored an old treehouse in his backyard. They were careful, meeting in groups with mutual friends, including Emma in most of their activities, keeping things firmly in the friendship category. But Ryan found himself looking forward to her texts, saving funny stories to tell her, noticing how Emma seemed happier with Mia around. He hadn't realized how much they'd both been missing female energy in their home. The inevitable happened on a rainy Saturday night. Emma was at a sleepover, and Mia came over to help Ryan organize photos for Emma's upcoming birthday slideshow. One moment they were laughing over Emma's toddler pictures, the next they were kissing, years of unacknowledged feelings finally breaking through. We need to talk to Caitlin, Mia said afterward, her head on his shoulder as they sat on the couch. Before this goes any further. Ryan nodded, knowing she was right but dreading the conversation. Caitlin had remarried last year to a financial analyst who traveled constantly. Their co-parenting relationship was cordial but distant. The call went about as well as expected. Accusations of betrayal, reminders of family loyalty, threats to reconsider the custody arrangement. Mia stood firm, reminding her sister that she had moved on with her life and Ryan deserved the same chance. She'll calm down, Mia said after the call ended, though she looked shaken. She always does. But the following weeks proved challenging. Caitlin became difficult about schedule changes, questioned Emma extensively about time spent with Mia, and made passive-aggressive comments during handovers. The strain began to show. Ryan wondered if pursuing a relationship with Mia was worth potentially disrupting Emma's stability. Mia suggested taking a step back, which only made Ryan realize how much he'd come to depend on her presence. The turning point came unexpectedly. Emma, perceptive as always, confronted them one evening. Are you and Aunt Mia fighting? Is it because Mom is mad? Ryan and Mia exchanged looks. What makes you think that? Ryan asked carefully. I heard Mom talking on the phone. She said Aunt Mia was trying to steal her family. But that's not right, is it? Because you and Mom aren't a family anymore. You're my family, and Mom and Gary are my family too. Out of the mouths of babes. Ryan pulled Emma into a hug, his eyes meeting Mia's over his daughter's head. Your mom is always going to be your mom, Mia said gently. And I would never try to change that. I just care about you and your dad very much. I know, Emma said simply. You make Daddy laugh again. And you help me with my projects. I think that's good. That weekend, Ryan requested a meeting with Caitlin, alone, in person, without Emma present. They met at a neutral location, a park where they'd once brought Emma as a toddler. I need you to hear me, Ryan said after they'd exchanged awkward greetings. What happened between us was painful for both of us. But it's been 3 years. You've rebuilt your life. I'm trying to do the same. With my sister, Caitlin said flatly. With someone who cares deeply about Emma, who respects our co-parenting relationship, who makes me happy. Would you prefer I find someone who doesn't already love our daughter? Caitlin was silent for a long moment. I always knew, you know. Even back then. That you two had a connection I couldn't compete with. That's not true. I was committed to our marriage. We just wanted different things. Maybe. She sighed. Emma asked me why I was making everyone sad. That's not what I want. It wasn't immediate acceptance. But it was a start. Over the following months, tensions gradually eased. Caitlin's initial anger gave way to cautious civility, then eventual acceptance as she saw how happy Emma was. 1 year after that fateful accidental swipe, Ryan found himself planning a proposal. Emma helped him choose the ring, a vintage silver band with a small emerald that reminded them both of Mia's eyes. Do you think she'll say yes? Emma asked as they wrapped the small box. I hope so, Ryan said. Are you okay with that? With Mia becoming part of our family officially? Emma gave him a look that was pure preteen exasperation. Dad. She's already family. This just makes it so everyone else knows too. The proposal happened during a weekend trip to the coast, Emma's idea executed with Ryan's planning. A sunset beach picnic, Emma, coincidentally, wanting to look for shells just as Ryan got down on one knee, Mia's tears of joy as she accepted. That night, as Emma slept in the adjoining hotel room and Mia rested against his chest, Ryan thought about the strange path that had led them here. One accidental like on a dating app at 2 a.m. One text message that could have been awkward but instead opened a door. What are you thinking about? Mia murmured, half asleep. How sometimes the mistakes we think we're making turn out to be exactly right. Sometimes life's most beautiful chapters begin with what seems like a mistake. Ryan's accidental swipe right reconnected him with someone who had always been meant to be part of his story. It wasn't always easy, real love rarely is, but by facing the complications together, they built something stronger than either could have imagined alone. If this story touched your heart, please like and subscribe for more stories about love, family, and second chances. Remember that sometimes the most meaningful connections come when we least expect them, and that families come in all forms. What matters most is the love that holds them together.